Three visionaries, Dr. Nneka, Dr. Margaret Obilo, and Dr. Angela Ikeme, authors and pace-setters, came together and wrote a powerful and long-anticipated book, Voices of Triumph, Stories of African Women Immigrants in America. This book highlights African cultural heritage, the delicate balancing act of work-life expectations, especially for women navigating corporate America while upholding strong cultural roots.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us for another beautiful episode of Voices of Triumph on the Road. Today, we're coming to you live from the beautiful city of Morgan Hill, California. I am Dr. Nneka, and joined, as always, are my beautiful sisters.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Ngozi Obilo, and nice to be here today.
Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Angela Ikeme. So pleased to be here in my hometown, Morgan Hill. Thank you.
All right. So, in today's episode, we will feature two phenomenal women, and this is in honor of International Women's Month. We are presenting a powerful conversation to you. And with us, I'm going to start with you, Dr. Juley George.
Thank you. First of all, thank you for having me here on this podcast. And I'm really excited to be with you, amazing ladies, on this podcast. So, looking forward to our talk and having a wonderful conversation today.
And we're going to have fun. And of course, we have our phenomenal Dr. Truneh.
Hi, everybody. Thank you also for inviting me. I am very excited to dive into our conversation that you guys have planned for us. And I'm just in awe of you ladies for what you have been able to accomplish with this podcast, and indeed an honor to be part of it.
Thank you. Thank you. We are so honored to have you. So, ladies,
Yes.
March is such an important
I
month.
know.
Okay. It's not just because we're celebrating ourselves as women and international women, but it also is a landmark for us because March marks 1 year
Of our book.
Yes, of our
I'm launching our
publication.
book.
And it feels so real. I mean, the amount of work we've done in 1 year. Wow. I don't know about you, but I'm speechless.
I am so excited. I mean, it's unbelievable that it's 1 year already. I mean, we were so nervous, and worried about what was going to happen with the book. And look at us right now. So, very excited, really happy that we've gotten this far.
I have always thought about March Madness being about sports and all that. But now, reflecting back on March, it is a special month. By this time last year, we were so engulfed in producing this book, launching it, and so far, so good. And looking at the theme of women, International Women's Celebration this year, Give to Gain, everything we are doing just fall back into the whole theme, and so excited about month of March.
Absolutely, absolutely. We are thankful to you, of course, our viewers. We are thankful to our fans. Most importantly, we are thankful to our phenomenal sister, lady, Queen of Africa, Nelly Amaz Wyndham, who continues to allow us to come into her space to film this episode. Sister, we are so thankful to you, and you are a true definition of lifting as we rise. We love you and we thank you.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure, and we're really excited to be here again.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay, great. We're going to delve into our conversation today. But before we get started with all the wonderful questions, we'd like you to take some time to tell our wonderful fans a little bit about your background and your story. We'll start with you, Dr. Julie.
All right. So, a little bit about my background. So, personally, I am from India. I've actually lived the first 2 decades of my life in India. Although a little bit of that I did live in Qatar, Doha, Qatar, one of the Gulf countries. Um, I've been here in the United States now almost 25, 26 years, and I started my nursing career here in the United States. Um, the latter part of my last 16 years, I would say, of my nursing, I have been in nursing education. And it's been a wonderful part of my career change, and I still enjoy it. Teaching has been my passion, and being a teacher, I feel like it gives me the best of both worlds because I do get to see the patients with my students, and it's also mentor our new nurses, which are predominantly women. So that does make a difference. Um, Personally, about myself, I am a daughter, wife, and a mother as a woman, and of three children. Yes, three children now. I love being in the outdoors. I love hiking. Um, and what else should I say? I in the church choir. I'm also part of the church choir, and that does give me great joy and keeps me mentally sane, I should say. Um, what else? I do. I've taken up a new adventure on myself to trying to learn the piano. It's not been easy trying to coordinate both my hands yet. So trying on that. So that's it about me.
Wonderful, Julie. I thought we had so much in common until you said hiking.
I know.
That's where I draw the line. All right, thank you so much for sharing that with us. Dr. Truneh,
Yes.
excited to have you.
Oh, thank you so much, you guys. Yeah.
Tell our friends a little bit about yourself, your journey.
Yes. Well, I'm Wayna Truneh and from Ethiopia. Wayna Truneh in Ethiopian, Amharic. So I came to this country at about 17 years of age to attend college at a small college in Ohio called Oberlin College. And then went on to do my medical school training and residency training at Loma Linda University School of Medicine in Southern California. And I've been practicing full scope OBGYN practice since about 1997 in the Bay Area. Almost 28 years at the Palo Alto Medical Foundation. It is an honor and a privilege to be in women's health field. I think it's an extraordinary field with extraordinary promise and extraordinary challenge, but I'm very happy to be. It's been a rewarding career, and I look forward to continuing to, make an impact in whatever way I can during this practice and in retirement. So we'll see what happens there. I'm very passionate about health education in the women's health space, so I do a little bit of that in the community. I'm born to two extraordinary parents. My dad, a minister and an educator. He was the principal of the high school I went to, by the way. It was a very interesting experience. And my mom, an extraordinary mother who's no longer with us, but she's a certified nurse midwife, and she is indeed the inspiration for my career path. She's the inspiration in many ways, but that's the most profound and lasting ways that she has inspired my life. And I am married to a gentleman called Izal and a wonderful man. I have three amazing, wonderful children, Jonathan, Makadan, Ida. They literally are the reason I live. They are the thing that I am most proud of.
Oh, fantastic. Oh, well, thank you. So something similar. They both have three children.
I know. Not only that, his dad was a minister, and she's in a
Yes.
My brother is a minister.
Oh,
There you go.
Okay.
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 Very much into you.
So there are no accidents. We're here for a reason. Well, thank you so much for sharing your background with our fans. It's wonderful to hear how much work you've done and continue to do to impact the lives of other people. So ladies, March is International Women's Month. I know it used to be just International Women's Day, and it's been expanded to International. We're celebrating the whole month.
yeah.
We're celebrating the whole year, actually, right? The whole year, the whole year. But what does it mean to you? We'll start with you, Dr. Wade.
I am so happy that we have an entire month set aside to celebrate women, to highlight the accomplishments of women. I think that women are the backbone of every society. And, there's so much untold stories about women that are invisible and in invisible roles all over the world. And to highlight and lift and celebrate women in all areas of the work that they do, to make a difference in their little corner of this world or as leaders of countries and nations. All of it. They are all, we're all everywhere, doing our part to make a difference in the world. And I think that there's so many stories that could be told, and a month is not enough, like you said, but I'm thankful that it's there to just focus on women, and elevate the voices of women, and celebrate the accomplishments of women. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What about you, Julie?
I agree with Dr. Truman. So same thing, going back to their women's resilience and their contributions. It's throughout generations and culturally, it does make a big difference. And I know society-wise, in the past, and I would say even today, to some extent, it's patriarchal. You know, so even the with that, the contributions that women make does make that's the impact that we need to see. We talked about it a while ago about how I'm in the book of study of Exodus. When you gave me, when I was looking at this, one of the stories that came to my mind is the story of Moses. Now, women in that time are not standing in front of Pharaoh, changing a river to blood or, parting the Red Sea. But if you look at it, there was a mother who chose to hide her son, right, quietly, in the river. There were two midwives, and if you know that story about two midwives who went against King Pharaoh, who knew they would get killed, but they still were there to save those babies, including Moses. I mean, they were quiet, but their quiet courage changed history. So just like Doctor just mentioned about, they may be invisible, but they are making a big difference in today's world, and women are needed to make a difference in this world.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Dr. Angela.
You know, listening to both of you speak so passionately about women and what women has done. Yes, it's a patriarchal culture in most of the cultures, including the culture where we come from, Nigeria. But then when you look behind the scene, what the women have done, from the families to the communities, when you look back into history and see all the revolutions, all the things that were fought, you could see that women were very, very impactful in the success of whatever that community was looking at. In homes, they are the people that guide the children to whatever career, or even bring the children who are not doing well back into the fold to do well in the communities, in the countries, everywhere. But most of the time, they are so unrecognized. I call women unsung heroes of our time, of our communities, of our homes. You try to make noise, then you are categorized. And I think remembering to speak about a little bit of this women thing in our book, you come in here, you want to pursue your career, you become a career woman. Oh, look at her, she wants to overcome her husband. But I'm so grateful about the time we are in now, where we are not afraid anymore to speak about our accomplishments and also identify the other women who have gone out there in the past to pave the ways for us. So thank you, ladies, for all you are doing and for speaking up and uplifting every woman out there. Thank you.
Yeah, and you made a very important point. But then going back to our culture too, I think there are two parts to it.
Yeah.
So my name Neka means mother is supreme. Where we're from, motherhood is celebrated, right? It's such an important part of our culture, right? And there are also some cultural impacts of when a child is in trouble, they run to their maternal home for safety, right? And that's such an important part of our culture as Igbos, right? And so as we think about women and our contributions, and to your point, going way back to the Bible, the beginning of times, and even where we are now, we play such a crucial role in our communities. And this is also a month for us to recognize the work that we do, acknowledge one another, and continue to lift as we rise. So Thank you so much for that. Now, with that, I'm going to pass it on to my colleagues to continue the
All
questions.
right. Okay. So, Dr. Truneh, you've been a very big inspiration in the maternal and child health education here in America. And we're really grateful, because we're just talking about women now. And this is you really in this field helping to support um, all the women in the community, as well as women who are having babies, right? And so there is significant inequities in the healthcare system, and majority of the time it affects the Black women more than many of the other cultures. And so, when we think about what's going on and where we are today with that work, right? Because it has taken a journey for us to get to where we are now, where women are not dying from having children, So, what advice would you give a woman about caring for their health and advocating for themselves within this healthcare system? Right. And then the other part of that is what preventative measures, can we take to maintain wellness?
This is such a crucial and important conversation to have. It is heartbreaking. We live in the United States of America. I practice, and you guys live in, work in the United States of America. Amazing healthcare system. The advancements are really pretty astonishing in 2026 in every field and in every aspect of medical care. But still and yet, Black women die of childbearing at 3 to 4-fold higher maternal mortality rates compared to white women. And it is, multifactorial. It is fundamentally rooted in structural racism, to be sure, but it is a multifactorial problem. And I think when we address health and wellness in women in general, it does have to start from the time that we are little to the time that we're transitioning to menopause and beyond. And what does that health journey look like? And how can we do our part to keep ourselves well and to thrive, basically, right? So I want to take that in two parts: the personal care part and then the healthcare part. I think with the personal care part, there's just no other way to say it. You have to uh, really invest in your health and wellness by the way you choose to live, the choices of health choices, food choices you make, and the lifestyle choices you make. And from the time that you're a teenager, these things are additive without a doubt. So I think we inspire our kids to eat healthy, to be kind, to be good humans, to work hard, and we have to really teach them to take care of their bodies and to know their bodies and to really inform themselves about what's normal and what's not normal. So I think healthy food choices at the crux of all of this. And eating healthy, what does that look like? It really, it just means eat food in the way that naturally exists. Try to avoid the overprocessed foods that bring all the ill health outcomes that come with it. Plant forward diet, eat lots of plants and vegetables and fruits, and making sure you're balancing your diet out, making sure you're eating less animal fat, making sure you're eating less sugar, making sure you're consuming less alcohol, right? And making sure you're not smoking anything. That includes marijuana. It all has adverse health consequences. I think young kids don't seem to think that that's a problem. It is a problem, and it does have measurable health outcomes that come from all of these things. So I think this is unavoidable. There's no way we can skirt it. There's no shortcuts. There is long-term reward and benefit. In this country, we talk about lifespan, very different than in African countries. The lifespan is so much more here. But it is also important to talk about the health span, right? How long are you living and how healthy are you living? I don't want to really live to be 80 and 90 and not be able to lift myself up from this chair, right? And be able to play with my grandkids, etc. So I think you have to pour into your health early and consistently. And the other aspect is the lifestyle aspect, which you have to exercise. Taking care of our bodies includes exercising regularly. American Health Association tells us 150 minutes a week is important for aerobics. Then we have to do strength training. All of these things have to come together as a primary prevention strategy so we can avoid the bad outcomes from childbearing, the bad outcomes from the degenerative diseases like dementia and stuff, and cardiovascular diseases and cancer. So I think we just have to do the work up front and advocate for ourselves to get good doctors. That's now the healthcare space. Once we graduate out of the pediatrician's office, we do have to find a good adult primary care medicine, find a good gynecologist, and really kind of stay with the program of getting regular checkups, making sure you're getting your regular lab screening tests, making sure you're getting your proper cancer screening tests at the right time intervals, whether it's your cervical cancer, your mammogram, your colonoscopy, all of that, right? But staying consistent with your health care allows you to pick up diseases early and manage early and treat early and cure early. So you don't sort of ignore symptoms that are happening that are not normal to you, but then you don't have time, life gets in the way. I'll never forget one year I called to make my mammogram appointment and was told that it was like 3 years. I'm like, there's no way. I do my mammogram every year. There's just no way. And I'm like, no, but it was 3 years ago. I'm like, that couldn't be. You guys are mistaken. And I just realized life got in the way. And what if something significant came out of it? Because I totally missed 3 years of my mammogram. Then I changed it to my birth month thereafter. So I never forget. But the point is really to be consistent and make good use of the healthcare systems that are available. If you encounter a physician that you don't feel is serving your best interest and it's not is dismissive of your concerns, maybe, or you don't feel like you're getting resolution to the problem, get a second opinion. There are lots of doctors out there. You don't really have to be with the physician that you don't think is serving your health interests. So I think it's really important to do that, but also stay with your regular checkups. When you're pregnant, it's really not an option to skip tests and to skip visits. You really want to be very consistent with that. And when you're of a certain age and you're ready to have childbearing, I think preconception consultation visits are really helpful and important, especially if you have chronic diseases. So if you have diabetes, you want to make sure it's optimal before you get pregnant so you don't get complications from it. If you have hypertension, similarly, get on medications, get a good number, and get in a good place before you get pregnant. If you have autoimmune conditions, things that we know will complicate your pregnancy outcome, get in there before you're pregnant, talk to your doctor, get a hold of the condition, then become pregnant. This is the best way to have the best health options. So,
Oh my goodness.
I had a quick follow-up
Mhm.
for Dr. Truneh, and one of the things she mentioned that is so important is when the youths are transitioning from that age of where they're on their parents' insurance to moving on without the insurance. So there's a lot there that I like how you said it, that they need to continue to follow up, right? Because a lot of them now they have to afford the health insurance themselves. So they start deciding which ones they want to go for and which ones they don't want to go for, and their health starts getting in the way. So I really appreciate you bringing that piece up, that folks still need to continue on, checking in their health and making sure they go to the doctor for all of those things. Yeah.
Thank you. Actually, that was what I was going to
Oh,
say
sorry.
because no. But you said it so beautifully because we know that we have our children at that age now where they have transitioned from the parents' insurance to their own insurance, and within the 20 and 30, they think they're invisible. They cannot be sick. But thanks for bringing up that proactive measure of going, especially the women, because eventually majority of them will get pregnant, and it's important to be in a good health before that pregnancy thing starts coming in, because pregnancy alone, it's a lot. Yeah. So thank you for bringing it up and sharing. I hope our young men and women out there are listening and pay attention and take it from the doctor, the professional.
Dr. Truneh said something that really caught my attention. I said, this needs to be in a commercial when I first met her. And she said, you have to take care of your health because you're worth it. And I said, ooh, that's catchy, right? So take care of your health because you're worth it. But really, I like the focus, what you said about the young people, but there are also people who are not so young that don't fall into this category of, our children transitioning into adulthood. But, especially immigrant women,
Yes.
right? Culturally, there are so many taboos, there are things you can't say. I remember growing up in our culture, there are parts of your body you can't mention. right? So how then can you say, oh, something is wrong with me? You know what I mean? And we grow with that, and we become adults, and we transition throughout, our journey. And some people don't get mammograms at all. Forget cervical screening exam; they don't do that. And our goal is to continue this conversation and hope to inspire people who fall into this group. Taking care of our health, it's not too late, right? To go back and get checked out and all of that.
But that, I think you have to advocate for yourself, right? And there's nothing embarrassing about having girl parts that get into some problems sometimes, and getting checked up and getting treated is very important.
I also liked how you mentioned about self-care,
Yeah.
which is what women are lacking, I feel like, a lot today. Because, like you said, life catches up, things in the house catches up, um, especially like when we are an immigrant coming here with the culture, everything is, and self-care kind of gets in the lower category.
And women tend to kind of push it all down, right? Because they're trying to support everybody else in the family. So you never know when the woman is sick, because even if she's kids, she's still going to work. She's still dropping off the kids. She's still doing a lot of those things. So taking care of yourself and knowing, when to do that is very important. So I
I
appreciate
tell my
that comment
patients and my
too.
kids this: you are worth it, like you said, right? Are you worth investing in yourself? 100% yes. Take care of yourself.
If you don't, no one will.
Yes.
And a little bit of the advocacy too. That I think there's a missing piece to that, because sometimes when you don't know what you don't know what you advocate for, right? So it becomes important to have that special person or sisters, the support group, people you can talk to, and for us, we don't want to shy away from reaching out to say, hey, sister, you don't look so good. You look tired. Is everything okay? A little check-in, I think, goes a long way too, just to support, one another.
I think this whole conversation might take a whole day, because it's a very important one. So, we'll divert to Dr. George. As a leader in academic institution, which is awesome, what successful strategies would you recommend for individuals from international backgrounds who wish to pursue a career in nursing or other profession?
Okay. So, as a person from international background myself, for people who want to pursue something like a nursing education, a career in nursing education or in the academia, one major thing I would say is lifelong learning. Stick to lifelong learning. Sometimes that's where also women tend to give up a bit because of family and other things. But if it's a career that you want to look into, um, you need to, as nurses, I know we as nurses, well, some of us are nurses, and of course we have Dr. Truman who is in the healthcare. It's changing every day. I mean, we have a saying in our nursing school, like a new edition book may come out, but as soon as it's printed, it's already outdated. So, things are changing every day. And so keeping up with learning and studying is one major strategy, I would say. And then as international people that are coming in, embrace your diversity, because your culture and the diversity that you bring in is actually a good wealth, especially for places like Bay Area, where we do have a diverse population. So embrace it. And you don't have to change everything about you. You can bring that wealth of knowledge into your education, nursing education. Um, yeah, and then find, I would say, mentors that can help you, because yes, clinical knowledge is different compared to what you would do in the academia, because now you need to know teaching methodologies, you need to know curriculum development, things that are different. So you may be very good at the clinical side, but then when you stand in front of a classroom of 40, 45 students, it's a different scenario. Find people who can mentor you into the academia environment. That'll be something that also can help. And look for opportunities. It can be simple, like a teaching assistant. Start there. Don't give up smaller opportunities if you find it.
Yes. I like the idea. Don't give up small
Yeah,
opportunities.
yeah, absolutely. I know that question was for you, Julie, but I want to tag on to it for Dr. Truneh. There's a lot of conversation about our own getting into the medical school. Can you talk a little bit about what you see and, what recommendations you have for the young people who are trying to get into that space as well?
Yeah. Gosh, the whole medical school thing, I feel it's just gotten a little out of control. It is so incredibly hard. Sometimes I wonder if I'd make it in the medical field now, compared to the time that I applied because the requirements, they're so extreme, it seems. You have to publish or you have to, do some real work in the field of medicine to separate yourself from all of the thousands of applicants. Somehow you have to find a way to distinguish your application so they can look at you and say, yeah, this is the one we want, right? So I think that it's true. Again, you can't avoid the hard work that goes into college, getting those good grades and finding a mentor. It is, when I was in college, I remember walking down the street to a local community hospital and asking a pediatrician one week, an internal medicine doctor another week, a gynecologist another week. I had a surgeon take me into his operating room. I was just going around saying, can I spend a week with you? Can I just shadow? And it's a small community. So they were like, sure, come along. But that opened my eyes to a lot before I entered the field of before I got into medical school. And I just wanted to make sure, yes, my mom was a nurse midwife and it was a very inspiring career she had, but I wanted to make sure it was for me. And it was very, very helpful to have that hands-on experience in the doctor's office. So if there's any opportunity you have to volunteer in a free clinic or to shadow physicians, and while you're in college, I think it's very, very, very helpful. If you get an opportunity to get into a research and sort of get your name as second or third author or something like that, that will help you to distinguish your career. And then just become this really interesting human being. Find something else other than medicine, right? Maybe you're interested in music, or maybe you're interested in literature and writing or something. There are people who like publish and do things while they're pursuing medicine as well. And I think then it would say, oh, this person looks so interesting and so well-rounded, right? That's another way to distinguish yourself. Find a passion that you have outside of this sort of laser-focused thing about medical school. And then just make yourself a more well-rounded person. Don't be afraid to ask for opportunities. Every small opportunity goes a long way. And then you can get someone to really mentor you and show you the way. I suspect the school has a lot of the career center at school may have opportunities for them to connect them to like community people. But anyway, but I think you get the good grades, but also make yourself kind of this indispensable applicant that people will look at and say, wow, I want this person working hard, but it's so interesting also, right? Yeah.
We got to bring them back, Right. Oh, wow. Thank
I
you,
like
lady.
that.
Yeah.
Make it interesting, not just laser focused on academia, but
Learn the piano.
Yeah.
even if it's hard, try it.
Okay, so let's delve into networking a little bit. So, what networking strategies, helped you build strong allies as well as supporters throughout your journey in the profession? I can start with you.
Okay. Just wondering who the question was for. Okay. Well, networking, the word itself, I don't know if it's very comfortable for all women, the word, because it gives I guess it's because of the cultural background that we grew up in, to be modest. And the word networking kind of gives you yourself promoting yourself. And a lot of women don't want to do that. So I would say one of the ways that we can get over that is our mindset, changing our mindset of saying, well, you're not actually self promoting, but you can actually have a genuine conversation with somebody and create a good connection, you know. So, one of the things that I would try to do personally, I'm not a person who can work the room, if you're in a place. I'm more of a little introverted person, but I do love one-on-one conversations with people. So taking the time, the in-between times that you call it, where let's say you are in a conference or in a big meeting, the time before the meeting starts or during a break or after the event, instead of just walking away or being on your phone or, doing something self, that would be a good time to go meet somebody and have a genuine conversation. And I would say it doesn't have to be somebody who is, you don't have to look at what their degrees are or the academia that they have. It could be somebody just with an undergrad, but their experiences that they have can make a big difference to what you have or what you can bring to the table. So connect with them and have a genuine conversation. And then I would say after that would be don't leave it at that. Follow up, maybe call them for a coffee, meet them for, outside somewhere else. And then that kind of makes the connection even more stronger and would help you out there, whatever you're looking for.
Absolutely. Oh, okay. That's a good one. I think when you talk about self-promoting, I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
Yes.
We tend to minimize ourselves quite a lot, especially as immigrants, right? I call it a false sense of humility, and we need to get over it. There's nothing wrong. A man can waltz into a room and tell you how great he is and why he needs that promotion. We can't do that.
Yeah.
Who says we can? Who created that playbook, right? And so of course, we understand that there are those who are introverts. No, I'm not saying you have to be like me. I'm shy though.
Yeah.
But
Oh. Missed that part.
but truly, but you can start changing it a little bit. And to your point, find that one person. That mental shift needs to happen, because we really need to talk about our accomplishments and know that there's nothing wrong with it.
And that's why we are having this conversation because when we were writing the book, we talked so much about this false sense of humility, about self-promoting and all that. And I am a kind of a typical example of person who cannot thinks saying what I did is self-promoting. Up till now, I'm still struggling with that challenge. But thanks to these two great women and for this whole journey, I am getting better. And for our young men and women out there, and even those at my age, it is okay to share your knowledge, your experience, and your accomplishments because that is the only way people will know what you are worth. With immigrants, we come in here with a lot, we have a lot of values, but because we don't self promote, people take us for granted. And I think it's time we amplify what we have.
Preach,
Thank
sister.
you.
All right, we want to hear from Dr. Truneh.
Yes.
Well, I found it so interesting to hear you talk about networking as something that may have a certain sort of connotation associated with it. And like you said, it very much might be kind of a cultural angle to understanding that. But I just think that networking is sort of the verbiage we use in professional circles, but it's really human connections.
It
and
is.
it's
It
the
is.
relationships.
It's mingling together.
Yes.
Remember you used to call it mix and mingle.
Yes. When you're in
Now
college,
it's
you're making
network, yeah.
friends and then you're having good relationships, hopefully with your professors. And that then can introduce you to certain, open windows and doors for you here and there. And then you get into the workspace and you meet people with a variety of different personalities, a variety of different strengths and weaknesses. And you can sort of see your place and where you can contribute, but also just connect with people on a human level. That's where the connections come from. They call it emotional intelligence in this country, right? To really understand how you walk through the various rooms and various meeting spaces or workspaces at every level, making connections with people. And then maybe you'll find that, this person really helps you grow in this particular way in your field, or you can contribute to their growth in this field. And I think that's just how I see networking. And just don't give up on opportunities everyone needs an ally at work. And I think you have to have your sisterhood, or it could be your male colleagues as well. to support each other and to grow with each other. You just have to have good human connections. Yeah.
Absolutely. Building those relationships.
So I think the next one would be, what advice would you give to young women who are still trying to discover their career pathways and learning how to navigate professional system? We've been hearing a lot about people who do not know what they want, and a lot of them are women. So, what kind of advice would you give? So, maybe you start with Dr. Truneh. Yeah.
I think that exposure is important. I always say, if Barack Obama wasn't president, we wouldn't have a whole army of Black children that are born now that could say, oh, I guess I could do that someday, right? But what you don't see growing up is not something you're going to aspire to. If you don't know any economist and don't know what an economist does, you might not think of that as a career angle because you just don't know anything about it. But perhaps you could be good at it. So I think that college is the place and the time to really explore. I know that they really force these kids in high school to choose a particular career path when they're applying in college. So I find that insane that you would know exactly what you're going to be when you grow up in high school. Like, really, it's the time they should encourage you to come into a non-committed major so you can just explore all the different classes and to decide what your strengths and weaknesses are, where your passion is, what your interests are, and then find a field that works best with that. But since that's not our real world and you do have to commit, I think as early as possible as parents and communities to try to expose the kids to a variety of different professions. They have career days at school. I know they've asked me to come and speak to high school students before when my kids were in school, and even in elementary school they've had us come and speak. And they've had lawyers, they've had engineers, they all levels of different, nurses. We've had lots of different people come and say what it looks like to, what they're doing, what their path was to get there. And so I think once people really understand what their options are and then what they see what their personal strengths and weaknesses are. Maybe humanities is for you, and maybe the sciences are for you. And once you figure that out, then you can hopefully narrow it down. But the most important thing is you really have to find out what you're passionate about. Passion is the most important ingredient to figuring out what you want to do and sticking to it. Otherwise, you're going to be weaving in and out of different careers if you don't really know what you want. So, yeah.
Dr. George, you are with all these kids every day in the academic world. What advice would you give them?
Well, first of all, I feel like, um, especially since it's International Women's Month and we're celebrating it, and we have this different cultures. What I feel like is more than giving advice. We have all heard from our parents, be good, work hard, you can achieve anything. But I think that doesn't go any longer for the current generation of our kids. Uh, for them, rather than walking the talk with them, I think we need to walk with them, kind of what we are talking. So it's more than giving them the advice. We who are giving the advice feel like should be present. That's because one of the major issues we see in today's culture, or the young children today, is the amount of anxieties they have, depression that they have is much higher compared to an older generation. Feel like they don't have that, what do you call about that emotional intelligence, or that cover of protection, that we have emotionally. I feel like the current generation, it's lesser. I mean, it's studies too have done on it, researchers have been done on it. It's very prevalent. So yes, like Dr. Truneh said about being open to opportunities. You don't have to have your life decided right away. Look for things, but at the same time, we who are giving advices should be standing next to them, like kind of helping them build the skills, not just giving them a talk, but standing next to them, mentoring them, and helping
Helping
them.
them.
Yes,
Yes, you're
that's what
right.
I feel
So
like our
walking
young
with them
women
through
need
that
today
process.
more.
That's great. It's
Thank you.
really great. That's okay. So the other part of this now is how can we, how can we help the others? You know, how can we help lift up other women in these professions? You know?
It's for me, huh? All right. Um, well, lifting other women in the profession. I was thinking about it. I was like, well, we do have a little problem there. I mean, what is the issue? I mean, we do find ourselves not able to lift other women as we should. Somehow, I feel like in this environment, it could be it's a competitive environment. Everybody is trying to step on somebody to get forward and move forward. It could be the economy, it could be the anxiety, the culture that we are living in. That could be the reason. But yes, we need to lift each other up because that's where um, you can self promote. You can be, self itself being good and the other person to be good. And one of the things that came to my mind is saying of Oprah Winfrey. I don't know if I think she said it in an interview somewhere about as a child when she is if there is a candy bar, the candy bar always tasted better if she had somebody to say, "Isn't this good?" So if you have somebody next to you to say, share it, always the experience is much better. I think that can be translated to even our professional environment. It's more of just acknowledging a person's achievement. Let's say somebody got a promotion, a, a team member had an idea, publicly acknowledging that idea, sharing it. Hey, that person had this idea. That's so amazing. So that kind of encourages that person. Or even if somebody is taking a risk, kind of letting them know or being genuinely present for them. So those kind of lifting each other up, it's not only helping the other person, but it also brings you joy personally. So it's a two-way, you know.
What Shira would say, Dr. Chris would say, there's no joy in a convoy of one. And often there's, going back to the competition sometimes where people feel like if I light your candle, then it dims mine. But that's actually the opposite, right? Because if you light up one candle in this house, yes, you're gonna see a little bit of light, but think about when I light hers and she lights hers, and it becomes brighter, right? So that's a very important point. Yeah. What about you, Dr. Truneh?
I think that, the world we live in and where a lot of us are in healthcare spaces, it's an incredibly rewarding field, but it's a lot of stress. And there's a lot of anxiety that could come with working in this field. You want to do your best, you want to make a difference. You have kids at home, you have a husband at home, you have to take care of your parents perhaps, and there's so many, balls up in the air that you're working with to be the best that you can be in all spaces. And sometimes you're going to drop a ball one place, and then that's going to probably have a domino effect and kind of derail a lot of things for you. And I feel having someone that you work with, someone that you sit next to, someone that could be sort of a sister friend or a colleague that you can confide in, that you can um, really highlight, when you're doing good, and then when you're not doing good, I just want to pull you aside and say you could have done that better. There's a little room for improvement there, but I'm saying this out of love and respect. We all need someone like that, so we can grow and we can be supported. I remember in my institution, the early stages of my work, there was just a lot of like feeling burned out because you work so many hours, you work day, you work night, and just don't have enough energy left to spill over for your family. And you just feel like, did I make the right decision? I don't think I'm doing as well as I should be. And one of our colleagues who we regularly eat lunch with said, I think I'm going to quit. And she was young. And we said, whoa, hold on. Let's have dinner. Let's talk. Let's see what's going on. At the end of that dinner, this is pretty hilarious. We named ourselves WOOF, WOFF, Women Out of Focus. And we said we committed to being there for each other in all things good and in all things bad. And when something really goes haywire, let's say it's time to woof, and we get together. To this day, we do this. We used to do sort of monthly dinners, now not so much, but it was so immensely helpful. If I'm like, did I do this right? Did I misspeak? And they'll just say, yes, you should have said a little less at that meeting, or or, you did amazing here, or, when you have a complication in surgery or something like that, you can just cry on each other's shoulders and say, you got this, you're an amazing doctor. Bad things happen sometimes. Please don't beat up yourself, right? But I think that it's just so important that we develop those kinds of, look at you guys, this sisterhood right here, right? You've done some incredible things in this last year. I heard you speak about it, and you're there for each other in every way to lift each other up and to lift other women up. And I think that's really how you get through life. Yeah.
And you said it beautifully. I think every woman out there should have a wolf team.
Yes, I like
Yes,
that. I
yes.
really do.
Thank you.
I think sometimes we form it without saying the word, but I like that title.
Yeah. I think we're gonna take that. We're gonna.
Yeah.
Hopefully it'll be with women in focus. At that time in our career, we were very much out of focus. We're better now.
The message is clear. I think we all need it. And thank you for sharing. Yeah. So I think coming almost to a close, what message, if any woman watching this program today, what message do you like her to take from this conversation today? We'll start with you, Dr. George.
Okay. Um, First of all, I want to say, as women, um, your presence, your perspectives matter. Don't ever think that you don't matter. You do matter, and don't let fear pull you back. Because I think that's one of the major reasons: fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of stepping into something bigger that kind of pulls you back. I think it's good to always remember, right? Franklin Roosevelt said, the biggest thing that you need to fear is fear itself. So um, that is something that as women we need to kind of move forward with. And Dr. Truneh just mentioned about emotional intelligence, and actually women are scored higher on emotional intelligence. There's a lot of studies on that too. And it's not just a soft skill, it's actually a strength. We can actually hone on to that strength to build stronger relationships. That's what helps us, navigate all these complex issues personally and professionally. It helps us to create good working environment because you're able to build connections. Those are strong skills that women have. So I would say step forward. Don't have to hold yourself back. Doesn't everything have to be, you know, like you said about men can just walk into any place, women tend to hold back because they think they're not ready. You don't have to be. You don't have to hold yourself back, but step forward. Whatever you do, your presence has the power to make a difference. That's the advice I would give.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a great advice.
Thank you.
I think I say you're worthy. You're worthy of all of the dreams, goals, and aspirations you set for yourself. And you find out what you want to do, what your career path looks like, set goals, health goals, financial goals, career goals, make a plan, stick to the plan, be consistent, work hard, persevere. The reward is yours to get, and that's, I think, all I would say. But it's very important to have a goal first. You want to really identify that and have a plan how to reach that, and use as many resources around you as you can to help support you and get there. And yeah, you'll have a happy, rewarding life for doing that.
Wow. My.
Okay.
Thank
Wow.
Beautiful.
I couldn't have said it any better.
Yeah.
Thank
It's
you
wonderful.
so much, Dr. Truneh and Dr. George. It has been such an honor spending this afternoon with you. Thank you so much for all you do, for the work that you do in the community, in your families, and the world at large. The world definitely needs people like yourself, strong women, intelligent women, kind women, wonderful women who are out there making a difference. So thank you.
Thank you guys.
Thank
It's
you.
so
Amazing.
pleasure. Yeah, it's been a
Ah,
pleasure having this conversation with you.
absolutely, absolutely. And thank you so much for joining us for this beautiful episode of our podcast. There's a lot more where that came from, right? And so if you have any questions you would like for our awesome guests to answer, please feel free to send an email to us. You can reach out to us at info@rootsandrise.com with your questions and comments. And of course, we hope you check out our YouTube channel for a previous episode and enjoyed this current episode. We are also happy to announce that registration is now open for our Roots and Rise Synergy Conference scheduled in October, October 9th, actually, here in the beautiful Silicon Valley, San Jose, California. And of course, there are a lot of perks. You get to hear from phenomenal, world-class, renowned speakers, but you also get a chance to score a ticket to Silicon Valley African Film Festival if you're among the first 20 to register. We do hope to see you there. Please attend the conference, and it promises to change your life. Until the next time we connect, we are the Voices of Triumph. Thank you. Ndewona. Roots and Rise Synergy proudly presents our inaugural flagship leadership conference. Our theme this year, Drawing Strength from Your Roots, explores how your identity, culture, and lived experience can shape powerful, authentic leadership. Join a dynamic gathering of multicultural and globally diverse leaders right here in the heart of Silicon Valley. Feel the energy come to life with vibrant cultural performances, including African drumming and steel drum rhythms. Why attend? You get to hear from influential executives and trailblazers, gain practical tools to elevate your leadership, build meaningful connections with diverse professionals. Who should attend? This event is perfect for executives, entrepreneurs, mid level leaders, emerging leaders, and students who are ready to grow. Register now using the information on your screen. For more details, visit our website, www.rootsandrisesynergy.com, or call 510-493-0484. Act fast. Be one of the first 20 to register and score a free ticket to the highly acclaimed Silicon Valley African Film Festival. Don't miss out on this exclusive bonus. We proudly thank our community partners, the Silicon Valley African Film Festival and the African Immigrant Collective. Your dedication and partnership make our work possible. Rise with purpose through the Roots and Rise Synergy Conference. We hope to see you there.